Riley, come here. Talk to. What's your name?
Riley.
Riley. How old are you?
7.
7? Do you have brother?
Yeah. Yes.
Come here.
Say yes, Riley. Yes.
Yes. Who's your brother?
Didi.
Didi. Do you love Didi?
Yeah, I love Domino.
Do you love Domino?
Helping the kids out of their coats, but wait, the babies haven't been born. I'm unpacking the bags and setting up and planting lilacs and buttercups.
Hi, I'm Sherry. I'm Riley's mom. At about 2.5 years old, when I was on maternity leave with Riley's younger brother, I noticed that Riley wasn't developing language as quickly as some of the other children. So we just started doing play dates, and I started actually hanging out with other children and seeing that these other children started talking, putting 2 words together. I became a little concerned only because I was really OCD about Riley's development because he was my first child. So I started to monitor, why isn't his language developing as quickly as the other kids? So we decided to take Riley into this place where they do evaluations. It's a state agency. And they did an evaluation for Riley, and his first diagnosis was sensory integration disorder. Basically, Riley had trouble processing all his senses, so sight, sound, everything. Anything could disrupt his language development. And there were other things that were developing. He started showing some repetitive behavior, and that's when I became a little bit more concerned, and we took him to UCSF. And we paid a lot of money to do the full evaluation. It was basically 2 days, 1 day of just a battery of tests, testing his language. And you have to imagine this is a 3.5-year-old child who has to follow instructions with a professional. They would be asking him questions like, Riley, can you stack 2 blocks on top? And these are things that a typical child would have been able to do very easily. They would be able to stack 2 blocks on top. But Riley wasn't really paying attention to the instructor. The instructor had to ask several times and then also just kind of show him what he had to do. So basically, after that whole day of evaluations, we sat down with the doctor at UCSF, and he said that Riley is on the autism spectrum. So that was when we found out about it.
Hi, my name is Quinn. I want to say that we first met Riley and his mom Sherry a little bit after my son Vin was diagnosed with autism. Anytime I find out something, activities that might be good for the boys, I let Sherry know, and when she finds something that could be really fun for them or fun for the boys to do together, she would let me know. I think Riley is as close to a BFF for Vin as you can get. As a matter of fact, we just had a play date yesterday. Vin was just so excited. He was so excited to see Riley. I think they were really happy just to see one another. And that's really, really nice to see, because I think one of my worries for my son, and I'm sure one of the worries Sherry has for her son Riley, is that because of their condition, it's very difficult for them to have friends. And that's our hope for both of our boys, actually, is that, through this connection they're able to have to one another, that each of them can kind of take what they've learned, kind of have that history where, they're able to play together, maybe ask each other things, and do the whole back and forth thing, that they can take what they've learned from one another and, kind of expand their their circle of friends, whatever you call it.
Riley actually has a lot of strengths, and I would say his two top strengths are, one, he has amazing athletic ability. For example, this is one example, he takes a gymnastics class and the teacher will demonstrate a handstand. And for many children, a handstand can look kind of easy, but there's actually a lot of steps that go into doing a handstand. You have to place your hands on the floor, you have to lift your body up, and how do you lift it up in such a way that you can hold a stance for a long time? And Riley can do it almost perfectly well the first or second time. And the other thing with Riley is that he keeps on trying. If he really likes something, he'll keep on trying. So that's kind of the nice thing about being repetitive with some things. He doesn't mind practicing something that he really enjoys doing. The other strength with Riley is his memory. And Riley can remember names very well and faces. He can remember stories that probably most 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds don't remember. He can name every single classmate from his preschool class, even though preschool was 3 or 4 years ago. Riley, while he has his strengths, also there are a lot of challenges with any child on the spectrum. So one of the big things for Riley is that he can tantrum. And the tantrums will occur, they used to be very frequent when he was 2 or 3 years old. I would say almost daily there would be a tantrum. When his tantrums happen, they're extremely challenging for any parent. Riley, you know that if you cry too much, your poo can't come out. You wanna go poo-poo? You have to stop crying or the poo doesn't come out. The hardest part for me is that I know when he's tantruming that he's unable to learn and he's unable to be regulated enough to absorb the things that are around him. So that's really hard, because what child or what adult can learn when you're tantruming? And it's so important that every moment be a learning moment for Riley. And then once the tantrum happens, it's pretty much too late at that point to stop a tantrum. So I've learned a lot of calmness when Riley's that way, because what you want to do is co-regulate with your child. If I show him that I'm calm, he'll eventually come down to my calmness and match me. You have to match what you want. You show that in yourself as a parent, what you want that child to demonstrate. So the tantrums are just very difficult. But these days, Riley tantrums a lot less, so I'm extremely lucky.
But in the meantime, we got it hard. Second floor living without a yard. It may be years until the day my dreams will match up with my pay. Older road, knee-deep snow, watching the fire as we grow.
His typical week is he's in first grade with a full inclusion program. So basically what that means is that he actually spends his day with regular, typical developing kids in first grade. And Riley has an aide in the classroom, so he has someone supporting him as he's learning, Monday through Friday doing that. On Mondays, from 4 till about 5:30, he spends time with the social skills play group. So that's a set of children who also are on the autism spectrum, and they spend about an hour and a half to 2 hours, 4 to 5 kids with 3 other adults. There's 2 speech therapists and a special ed teacher that actually take them through different programs so that they can learn to interact with each other, they can learn to express their feelings. Another big part of his day is after school, when he's not at that social skills play group, we have a behavioral therapist come to our home from 4 p.m. until 6:30 p.m. So Riley has about a 1-hour break before his therapist Kyle comes over. And Kyle works with Riley on everything you can imagine. Things like safety, how to cross the street.
Let's look to the right. Any cars?
No.
Any cars to the left?
Jeffrey,
Alright, is this
I
a
want to
cross?
watch your DVD. Yeah.
Yes, it is. Let's go. Yes, we're fine.
How to identify community members, like how do you know someone's a policeman? How do you know someone's a fireman? So they'll do simple exercises like either go on community walks or do flashcards where you're shown an image of someone in a uniform and then you identify them.
Who is this?
A big towel.
She is a pink teller. High five, bud. That was great. You got it. Who are these people?
Whoa. What is it?
You can say, I don't know.
I don't know.
Who are these people?
We waxing. Religion.
Religious people.
Religion people.
Nice work, bud. Who are these people?
Religious people.
Hey, nice work, bud. That's awesome. You did it.
He has to learn his address, so those are some of his safety goals. And then he also has goals around waiting patiently, so being able to do a table time activity and waiting. He also does some extracurricular activities, so he does gymnastics, which he loves, on Thursday nights, and then also baseball. And with baseball, it's a really special little team because it's called the Challenger Division. And it's actually part of the Little League. And the Little League has a designated division for kids with special needs so that they can participate in programs like baseball, like the regular kids, and be very accepted and be able to do it in a safe environment. Because, I mean, kids like Riley, not that they wouldn't be able to handle being on a team with regular kids, but there's a sensitivity that still needs to be developed with some of the children that might not fully understand what it means to have a developmental delay.
Whoa! Run, run!
Run to the next. Amen! No! Amen, run to the next phase! Amen, run! There you go.
It's like taking a trip. You're going on an airplane, and prior to the trip, and say you're going to Paris, you're reading all the travel guides about, oh, how do I get around in Paris? What do I do when I get to Paris? But you're on this airplane, and you're not going to Paris, you're going to Italy. So you're going to a totally different country, and you didn't read the guidebook for it. So you're kind of reading it along the way. So that's just like when you get a diagnosis of autism or any other diagnosis for any special needs child. It's like you imagine your life one way or your trip one way, but it turns out that you're actually going to a different place. You might be going to this different country, but it's still a very beautiful country.
Helping the kids out of their coats, but wait, the babies haven't been born. I'm unpacking the bags.
So it's been great knowing Riley, and he is. I've never seen anybody so coordinated.
Time we got it hard. Second floor living without a yard. It may be years until the day my dreams will match up with my pay. Oh. watching the fire